Yesterday morning, Jack Lufang and I returned from CES in Las Vegas. And CES is an absolutely huge consumer electronic tech show. There are about 200,000 participants every year, and thousands of companies doing everything from self-driving cars to flying taxis to TVs, refrigerators, every electronic you can think of. But none of those companies that I saw over the 3 days we were there actually has the mission of providing affordable safety and saving lives. Because one thing that's hiding inside the fact that we drove with our system over 1 billion kilometers with no deaths is that Munich Reinsurance estimates that we saved over 100 lives. And I don't think there's a lot of companies out there, whatever gadgets they make, that can make a similar claim. So, what I would like to talk about today is not so much the vision, but the execution of the technology we want to build. Specifically, two principles that I mention again and again. The first one is to work smart and not hard. Because you see, it's easy to be busy, to fill up your time, but what matters at the end is the results. That the work you do actually creates value and that you solve the underlying problem. Because so many times we miss, having tasks and forget about the actual underlying goal, which in our case is to solve one fundamental problem, which brings me to the second principle. And that is that when you work, when you try to put technology together, you have to make sure that it all works together, or it will not work at all. And in our case, that involves a lot of components. The software, the hardware, the structure, the testing, the manufacturing, the quality control, the installation, the calibration, the human factor, sales, marketing, explaining to the people how to use the product, making sure that they use the product, all the operations work involved in that. And then, of course, the data collection, making sure that we collect the data reliably, making sure the analysis is correct, making sure that the feedback provided through the cloud platform, provided through the reports, provided back to the system is correct. And it can be used to continue to improve our product and continue to save lives. So, in some way, the company may look very complicated. We have lots of different product lines. There's C910 and C830 and the BSD and the cloud platform and the app. But fundamentally, at the very core, there's just really one function, which is what we do is we avoid a collision when it's going to happen. And that includes two parts. One part is, of course, we only act when there is a collision. Because if you got too many false positives, then drivers won't use the product, and then it's as if the product was never there. The second part is when you do act, you actually act to avoid a collision, to minimize the loss, to save a life, and to basically have the product cover its own value. Then on top of those, if we master those two parts, and we really fulfill just that one function, then on top of that, we can make sure we collect the data, we can provide a whole nother range of services, we can make sure we have a feedback loop to keep improving our system, and then on top of that, we can finally work towards building a future of autonomous vehicles. And that's why I'm here I think that's why we're all here. So, and I hope that in 2020, we can put all these pieces together and we can really reach that exponential growth in terms of the vehicles, in terms of miles traveled, in terms of data collected, and then ultimately in terms of lives saved. Thank you.